I'm sure you guys remember the video where I promised you guys I'm going to teach you how to increase your vocabs your vocab when it comes to tongues. Now, please, guys, please, Pharisees and Sadducees, I'm not teaching people how to speak in tongues as in like I'm saying, say da 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 or mama. No, please don't do that. Don't do that. So today we're going to be learning about how to increase your tongues or your vocabs, okay? Because a lot of people, they complain to say, but my tongues don't sound like your tongues. When you pray, it sounds so smooth. But when I'm praying, I feel like I'm stammering and I'm saying the same thing and I feel like I'm saying gibberish. So let's address that and let me help you, and you'll realize you'll no longer struggle anymore. Let's look at the book of Isaiah chapter 28 from verse 11. It says, "For with stammering lips and another tongue, he will speak to his people, to whom he said, this is the rest with which you may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear." I want us to focus on what? On verse 11. For with a stammering lips and another tongue, he will speak to his people. Now, there are people when they speak in tongues, the first time they get baptized and they start speaking in tongues, they start saying, ma, 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 oh, na, 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 na. Like they are stammering, like it's a stammer. You know, when a baby speaks, they say, mama. That's the only thing the baby can say. And then the baby says, the baby just says rubbish. And then, but the only word that you can hear that makes sense is what? Mama. So some people, when they start speaking in tongues, they will probably have one stammer or one tongue that they have. Maybe it's kadosh. Every time when they pray, when they think about praying in tongues, it's kadosh, 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 kadosh. And then they're like, nah, maybe there's something wrong I'm doing. Why isn't every time when I'm praying in tongues, it's kadosh, kadosh, kadosh? But I hear Sister Joy when she's speaking in tongues, it's kadosh, kadosh, you are mighty on your throne. Kadosh, you reign. So why am I only saying kadosh? That is because you are trying to compare yourself to somebody who has been speaking in tongues for longer than you. Somebody who is even more mature in the spirit compared to you. When I teach on the issue of tongues, I always make this illustration because I think it's the best way to explain. When a baby is born, right? Now they are probably, approaching 1 year. They are now starting to speak. They are trying to speak. They say, mama, dada. And it's perfectly normal for the baby to speak like that. Can you imagine a baby that probably has just two teeth here? Or maybe let's say they have 4 teeth, these ones in front, right? And then the baby just comes and says, you know what? Me, I'm so tired. I said I don't want milk, but you keep on giving me milk and I want... You would be shocked. Haven't you seen how people are shocked about that conscious baby when they asked who wants to go to the 4 seasons and the baby said, me! It's shocking because it's like, huh? That's not how a baby behaves. So imagine your baby comes and says, you know what? I'm so tired of you every single time. I would be shocked. But at the same time, imagine somebody who is 11 years old not being able to speak properly. Not because they have any disability, but they have not yet learned to increase their vocabulary. They are still saying mama, mama, what they have been saying when they were just a year old. That's just how it is. Some people, you are stammering and you are speaking the way you are speaking because you are just a babe. You can't be comparing yourself to someone like Pastor Chris who has been speaking in tongues, or someone like Pastor Benny Hinn. You can't be comparing yourself to those people because they've been in the faith for longer than you, so they are able to sit on the chair and be speaking in tongues. Some of them can even rap in tongues. Have you heard Minister Dusen Oyekan? They rap in tongues. Have you heard Pastor Lawrence Oyo? They even chant in tongues because they've been doing this for a long time. If you were to sit down and listen to them, they will. In fact, there is a video where Pastor Lawrence Oyo was explaining that he couldn't. His tongue was shakatelia, shakatelia, shakatelia. I always laugh when I hear him say the story. But shakatelia, 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 shakatelia. But now, Mr. Lawrence Oyo, who used to do Shekatelia, is now chanting in tongues, and everybody's like, oh my God, how can I do this?
I faith. And then I opened my mouth and I started speaking. Shekatelia, 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 Shekatelia. That was my tongue.
That is because he allowed himself to grow, and now his vocab of tongues increased. It's if you allow yourself to grow and you embrace what you have and you pray and you understand. When I'm saying Shekatelia, I'm not repeating the same thing. Okay, let me explain that before I get you guys confused. I remember when I was 16 and I was listening to Pastor Benny Hinn. He was teaching on the river, how, in the book of, I think it's John chapter 7, verse 30 something, where we are told that the Holy Spirit will well up from our bellies, right? So then he explained that water in an active river, or the same water inside a river, does not move twice in one place. So let's say this is a rock. The water that just passed now is not going to be the same water that will pass later on. Meaning that if my tongues is kadosh, the first kadosh that I say will have a different meaning from the second kadosh I'm going to say. I don't know if that makes sense. Just like how the same water cannot cannot pass one place the same time. It's the same way your tongue cannot mean the same thing. You can say kadosh, 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 kadosh. This kadosh does not mean what this kadosh means, and this kadosh does not mean what this kadosh and this kadosh means, and this kadosh. Do you get it? Because you are. It's not like when you say them, 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 them. Them will always be them, but in the spirit, them can mean run, but also them can mean sit. Because the spiritual realm is just like that. I hope I'm not confusing you guys with this topic. Now, I know you're like, okay, Joy, I hear you. I probably don't hear you. Joy, you're confusing me. Just get straight to the point. How do I increase my vocab? Look, this one, you cannot fake it. If you just allow yourself time, that's it. And continue to speak in that tongue that you have. If your tongue is kadosh, honey, kadosh, 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 kadosh. If whenever you speak in tongues, you're saying kadosh, do that kadosh. Be proud of your kadosh. In due time, you will realize that your vocab is going to increase. Now it's going to be Kadosh, you are mighty. Next thing is Kadosh, you are mighty on. Next thing is Kadosh, you are mighty on your throne. Next thing is you reign, you reign, you reign. What's happening to me? It's because I decided to embrace that Kadosh. I did not compare myself to those who are saying another thing. And I feel like, oh, maybe my tongue is demonic. And another thing that causes you guys not to increase your vocab, you think that your tongue is coming from the devil. Now, instead of expressing yourself with that tongue, you hide it. You want to push it down. You don't want to say, you don't want it to come out of your mouth. In fact, some of you think that people are going to laugh at your tongue because when you speak in tongue, you start, honey, if that's your tongue, until you grow, until you become mature, until you get to that place where you are now lekrumahaske veli bradela evaradoske vene meheske rakabakaske leverina diantoske melia rukaman telefre iske levira de. I didn't start like this myself. I also didn't start like this. I also once was saying, I can't remember what I used to say then, but it was not like, even how I'm speaking my tongues now, in the next 5 years is going to change. Probably in the next year, maybe 5 years is too far. In the next year is going to change. Maybe these tongues are not the tongues I was speaking then, because things are progressive. Remember in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 4 in the TPT version, it says the one who speaks in tongues, they increase or they improve their spiritual progression. They progress spiritually. So even tongues, they progress, they change, they improve, they become better, they become deeper, they become coded. Then there are those who groan in the spirit. Hey, my God. So I hope that this video will encourage you to embrace the tongues that you have, okay? Embrace the tongues that you have and kadosh, baby. Kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. Nobody must make fun of your kadosh. In fact, the more you embrace your kadosh, you'll realize that a new language, a new tongue will spring up, and loosen up, have fun, and just know whenever you're speaking in tongues, it's not you praying, rather it is the Holy Spirit. My name is Sister Joy, the girl behind Jabita Jesus Joy. Thank you so much for tuning in on yet another video. I hope that after today, nobody will make fun of your tongues. You yourself will not ridicule yourself for your tongues. I love you all with the love of Jesus Christ. Shalom.